Hi friends, so welcome to this new class. I hope you're all keeping fine and learning with a great enthusiasm. That is my belief. I hope you will not betray my belief. So every day listen nicely all the classes and learn nicely, because if you keep on pending then it becomes too many and you will not be able to cope up with that. So try to do every day the respective day's class and learn nicely. And I hope you remember that we have been talking about unemployment in our country. So there are different types of unemployments are there. Some are disguised unemployment, some are underemployment, some are educated unemployment, and so on. So today let us continue with that. You can see page number 26. And we see there is disguised unemployment. We set the example of a family having a small plot of land and they have 8 members in the family, and 5 people are enough to complete the work of that family, that farm. But since other 3 are free, they have nothing else to do, they have no other job, therefore they also come and work. So when we look, all the 8 members are employed in the field. Actually only 5 people are needed. If the 5 people are working, then they'll be able to produce the maximum harvest. If the 8 people are also working, they'll be able to produce the same amount of harvest. Nothing more will be produced just because 3 people are working extra there. So they are disguised unemployment. They don't have any proper job, they are simply going and helping there and they are not producing anything extra. That is called disguised unemployment. So this kind we will find mostly in the rural areas, in the village areas, where a lot of people are there and they have small farms, small fields, and people go on working there for the whole year. From beginning till the end they will be going on working there and they have no other work. So that is a great problem that the rural India are facing. That's why we say we have so many people working in the agriculture sector or primary sector, but the production is not improving. That is the reason, because of disguised unemployment. Actually all those people in the rural area don't have to work in the farm, because there is no much work in the farm. Since they don't have anything else to do, they go and say, I am also working in the farm. But because of their extra work, there is no extra production. That way, the production remains very low, but more and more people are working in the farms. So, this is in the agriculture, it is the most labor absorbing sector of economy. So we said almost 48% of the people, of the rural people are working in the farm. That means it is the most labor absorbing. So this sector, the agriculture sector, is absorbing or receiving maximum number of laborers. More people are working in the agriculture sector. Then in the recent years we can see, because people are getting education, they are learning skills and so on. So there is some change in the recent years. Let's see what are the changes. So there has been a decline in the dependence of population on agriculture because of disguised unemployment discussed earlier. So people began to get more job or other jobs. So people who are working as a disguised employment, or those who had nothing else to do, so they were working in the farm. So those people started moving out slowly. They go to the nearby town, work in the factory, or work as a serve in the service sector and so. So because of their education because of their special quality or learning ability or their special skill. They are able to get another job. Therefore, they are not now no more completely depending on this agriculture. We can do other work also. So that is all happening in the recent years because of the effect of the education. Then some of the surplus labor in agriculture, they have moved to either the secondary or tertiary sector. So those extra people who were working in the agriculture sector, they started moving to the towns where more job opportunities are available. Some are getting job in the factory or industry, and some are finding their own job in the service sector and so on. So the secondary sector, a small scale manufacturing, is the most labor absorbing. So we said in the primary sector, the agriculture is the most labor absorbing. Most of the people are working in the agriculture in the primary sector. So that is in the primary sector, agriculture is more people are working in the agriculture. But in the secondary sector, small scale industry or small scale manufacture, so small scale manufacturing, that has got more people working in the secondary sector. Then in the case of tertiary sector, various new services are now appearing like biotechnology, information technology and so on. So in the tertiary sector, IT, information technology, then like biotechnology. So these are the new areas of service where more people are employed. So I hope you understood. So in the primary sector, more people are working in the agriculture. And if you look at the secondary sector, we find more people are working in small scale manufacturing industries. And in the tertiary sector, more people are working in information technology or biotechnology and so on. These are the most common areas where people can find job. So people who are working in the primary sector, most of them will go and work in the farm. People who are working in the secondary sector, most of them will work in the small scale manufacturing industries. And in the tertiary sector, most of the people work in information technology or biotechnology. Then, now let us conclude this lesson with a story. This is a story about a village, how the people changed themselves, how the people became from poverty to developed situation, the economically stable situation. So there was a village inhabited by several families. So this village had several families. It was a big village, and each family produced enough to feed its members. So all the members, they had their own farm. Every family had their own farm. They produced, cultivated, and the food was enough for their own consumption. So they never thought about producing extra. They never thought about producing and selling the extra products, but they just produced what was required for them. And each family met its needs by members making their own clothes and teaching their own children. And so they never send the children to the school. Each family, they will teach their own children. So there was no common school, but maybe the parents will teach their children how to read, write and so on. And they themselves will make clothes for them, shawl and other things they themselves will make. There is no tailoring shop, there is no shop for buying the dress and so on. Each family was self-sufficient. They will produce the food that is needed for them, they will provide the education that is needed for them, they will provide the dress that is needed for them and so on. So no more depending on others, completely every family is self-sufficient. And one of the families decided to send one of its sons to an agricultural college. So they were living on like this, self-sufficient, no more depending on others. Then one family one day decided, I have many children, I will send to my son, one son to the town. There is a agricultural college is there, let him go and learn about the agriculture. So he sent him to the college, and the boy got his admission in the nearby college of agriculture. They teach them how to cultivate, what are the modern methods of cultivation, and so on. Then after some time he became qualified in agro engineering and came back to the village. So he completed his study, maybe he might have taken 2 years or 3 years, completed his study, he got his graduation, and then he came back to the village. Then he proved to be so creative that he could design an improved type of plow. So in the college he learned so many things, how to make a new plow for plowing. Earlier they were using their traditional methods, which was not very effective, which was not producing much fruit and so on. But this man, after his education, he got more knowledge, more skill, and therefore he came back and taught the people that we can make a better plow. It will be more effective. Then, because of that plow, people were able to increase the yields. They were able to produce more wheat. Before they were producing just sufficient for their family. Now because of using this new method of plowing, they are able to increase the production more. Thus, a new job of agro engineer was created and filled in the village. So people realized, so let us make a post. Post means a job. That let there be an agro engineer. This boy be our officer. We will pay him salary. Let him provide a good plow for everyone, so that everyone can use this new plow and produce better fruits. And so the family in the village sold the surplus in the nearby neighboring village, and they earned good profit, which they shared among themselves. So all the family began to use this new plow, and they all began to produce extra grain, and there was more than what they required. So the extra grain, what did they do? They carried it to the next village, sold there, and got profit, and all the villages shared that profit, extra money. So before they could never think about any money, they were just managing on their own. Now they are able to get some extra profit. And inspired by this success, all the families after some time held a meeting in the village. They all wanted to have a better future for their children too. So when this one boy went and studied and came back, and there is so much of difference in the village, then people began to think, if every family is sending one child each to study, then there can be so much of difference will be there, so much of advantage will be there. So people began to think. That's why they call meeting to discuss, shall we all send our children to study in the college? Then they requested the panchayat to open a school in the village. So before they did not have school, they were teaching their own children at home. Now they called the panchayat and they said, you open a school here, a common school meant for everyone. So instead of we teaching our own children, let us have a common school. Then they assured the panchayat that they would send all their children to the school. So they said, if you open a school, we are going to send all our children to the school. Not just one child alone, but we will send all our children to the school. Then the panchayat, with the help of government, opened a school, and a teacher was recruited from a nearby town, and all the children of the village started going to school. So panchayat agreed, okay, we will start the school. And so they got the help from the government, they made a building, and they hired one teacher from the neighboring village. Educated people were there, so they hired one teacher from there, and all the children started going to school. Then after some time, One of the families gave training to his daughter in tailoring, and she started stitching clothes for all the families of the village, for everyone now wanted to buy and wear well tailored clothes. So one family they said, I will send my daughter to the town, there she can learn tailoring, how to do stitching, how to stitch the clothes. So she went, learned how to stitch the clothes, then came back and she began to stitch clothes for the village people, and everybody was very happy. Before they were making by themselves at home, not so perfect, somehow they were making, it was not very smart looking. But now this girl, after her training, she came back and she began to stitch very nice dress, and all the people were very happy. They all wanted to use this clothes, and so another improvement has taken place because of her training. And thus another new job, that of a tailor, was created. So before they created a post of agro engineer to make plough for the people. Now they are making a new post, that of a tailor who will stitch clothes for all the people. Then this had another positive effect. So because of this, wearing new dress or wearing nice dress, there are an effect. The time of the farmers in going far for buying clothes was saved. As for the farmers spent more time in the field, the yield of the farms went up. This was the beginning of prosperity. So before this girl was there, the people used to go to the town, buy the cloth and bring at home and stitch by themselves. So for them to go to the town and come back, it is one day's journey, and that day they cannot do any work in the farm. The time is gone, and they have to pay the taxi charge, everything. So now, now because of this girl stitching the dress, they are able to spare some time. She will sit and stitch there. They don't have to stitch. That time also they can go and work in the field. So more time they are able to spend in the field, and that way the production increase. That is another advantage. So they were able to produce more because they are able to work for more time. Then that way the village began to experience prosperity. All began to experience good time. Then the farmers had more than what they could consume, and now they could sell what they produce to others who came to their village markets. So before they were producing only what is just required for them. Nobody was making anything extra. Nobody was producing anything extra. Every family produced only what was required for them. Now because of this new method that is introduced, new plough, and more time that they have to work in the field, and because of that everybody was producing more fruits, more grains in the field, and so the extra one they could sell it. So people began to come from other villages to their village market, and so people could sell those extra grain and get some extra money. Then over the time, this village, which formerly had no job opportunities in the beginning, had many like teacher, tailor, agro-engineer and many more. So we remember the situation of this village in the beginning of this story. There was no job opportunity, there was no school, there was no tailoring shop, there was no one who was educated, everybody was just managing on their own. They were self-sufficient, we can say. But now there are so many job opportunities are created. Since the school is there, somebody can become a teacher, agro-engineer, somebody who can make so many new methods or new instruments in order to cultivate better, or people who can stitch clothes. So since the village is big, there can be many tailors, there can be many teachers, there can be many agro-engineers and so on. So more people are getting job opportunity because of this education. All this happened to all this happened when that one boy decided to go and learn from the agricultural college. It all happened with that. Before that, they never thought about outside, they never thought about buying anything, everything they were just depending on themselves. And this was the story of a simple village where the rising level of human capital enabled to evolve the place rich with complex and modern economic activities. So it all happened because of education. So that is what we say, education can change the person, education can change the society. So in the case of this village, there was no job opportunity, they never had anything extra, they were just producing what is needed for them. But now the situation has changed, all because of the education that they have received. So this story tells us that what a simple village can become because of the education. If they decide to receive education, what benefit they can, or what improvement they can, or what change they can bring to the society. So we come to the end of that lesson, and we can just put into a few lines the summary of this lesson again. So we are talking about people as a resource, and in order to have people as a resource, we need to have educated people, we need to have healthy people, and we need to have people who have got a lot of skills. So if people have education, good health and skills or learning, then they can become a very good asset. They can work miracles, they can work wonders in the economy. More and more people will be able to get job opportunities, they'll be able to help the society to improve financially and so on. Then in this chapter we also discuss about the different activities taken by, or different economic activities taken up by different sectors, especially the primary sector, the secondary sector and the tertiary sector. And we saw how the GDP is produced from each of the sector. What is the GDP produced, or how much? So more people are working in the primary sector, but the GDP produced are very less. But people who are working in the secondary sector and tertiary sector, they are few in number, but the outcome is more, the production is more, the income is more. That is all because here disguised unemployment is there. More people are just working because they have no other work to do. So slowly people are moving from primary sector to secondary and tertiary sector. Then we also saw the problems associated with unemployment. We also saw how the people are suffering because of their unemployment. Because of that, and their financial situation is very poor, their life situation is very poor, and so on. And so we see through the story of a village that through education everyone can change their life. Their life can become better if they decide to receive education. If they decide to receive formal education, then their life can be changed, their situation can be changed, and they will certainly become a better person. So that is what we saw in this lesson. I hope you have understood, and if you have any doubts, you are free to consult me, you can ask me, text me, and I will be happy to clarify your doubts. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day.